Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to study a very important topic in Hindu law, that is sources of Hindu law. Whenever we study any law, the first question is, from where does this law come? What is the authority behind this law? The answer to the question is source of law. So, source of Hindu law mean the origin or foundation from which Hindu law has developed. Broadly, the source of Hindu law are divided into two categories. One is traditional source and another is modern source. Now, let us understand each one slowly, clearly and with example. So, in this traditional source of Hindu law, these are the oldest sources which existed from ancient times. They are based on customs, religious texts, and practices followed by Hindu society. There are four traditional sources. One is Shruti, Smriti, Digest and commentaries, and the last one is customs. Now, first understand the meaning. The word Shruti. The word Shruti is derived from the Sanskrit word Shru, which means to hear. So, Shruti means that which is heard. In ancient times, laws were not written in books. Great sages heard this divine knowledge during meditation and passed it orally from generation to generation. That is why Shruti is considered the oldest and most authoritative source of Hindu law. Now, what does Shruti contain? Shruti mainly consists of the four Vedas: Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharva Veda. First, the Rig Veda. The Rig Veda is the oldest Veda. It contains hymns of praise of natural forces like the sun, fire, wind, and rain. Okay, guys, and the next is Yajurva Veda. Yajurva Veda deals with rituals and sacrifices and the mantras. It explains how religious ceremonies should be performed. It explains how religious ceremonies should be performed. That is Yajurva Veda. Next, the Samaveda. It contains verses meant to be chanted or sung by sages during their rituals. It mainly focuses on music and melody. That is the Samaveda telling. And the Atharva Veda. The Atharva Veda is different from the others. It deals with magic spells, chantations, and on daily life problems of people. Apart from the Vedas, Shruti also includes Vedangas. Shruti also includes Vedangas, which help in understanding the Vedas, and 18 Upanishads, which deals with the philosophy, soul, God, and the ultimate truth of the life. So, finally, remember this point. Shruti is the supreme source of Hindu law. Remember this? Shruti is the supreme source of Hindu law. If there is any conflict between Shruti and other sources, Shruti always prevails. So, Shruti forms the foundation of Hindu law. Okay, guys, next we are going to move Smriti. Smriti is meaning what is remembered. Long ago, wise sages learned important knowledge and later wrote it down. These writings are called Smritis. Smriti help us understand the idea of Shruti. Understanding the ideas of Shruti in a simple and practical way. There are two types of Smriti. The first is Dharma Sutra. It has short and simple rules based on justice and common sense. Dharma Sutra has short and simple rules. And the second is Dharma Sastra. Sorry, my pronunciation is very bad. So I try to explain clearly. The second is Dharma Sastra. It explains the rules in more detail. Smriti teaches us our duties, our responsibilities, and how to behave properly in family and society. Some important Smritis are Manu Smriti, Yajnavalkya Smriti, Narada Smriti, Parasara Smriti. So, Smriti helps people follow Hindu law in daily life. Before moving ahead, I will clearly explain the difference between these two, Dharma Sutra and Dharma Sastra. So, the Sastra and Dharma Sutra and Dharma Sastra belong to the traditional source of Hindu law. First, let us see Dharma Sutra. Dharma Sutra is the oldest text of Hindu law. It was written in very early times. It gives rules in short sentences and it does not explain the rules in detail. For example, it tells rules about marriage and family duties in one or two lines. Actually, the Dharma Sutra tells the rules about marriage and family duties in one or two lines. Now, the Dharma Sastra. The Dharma Sastra came later. It explained the same rules clearly. It is written in long and detailed form. It explains why and how the rule is followed. For example, Manusmriti explains marriage, inheritance, and family law in a detail. So the difference is simple. Dharma Sutra gives short rules. Dharma Sastra gives full explanation. Dharma Sutra is the base. Dharma Sastra is the detailed law. Next, the sources, digest and commentaries. Smriti books very long and difficult to understand. So, scholars wrote these books to explain them clearly. A digest explained the whole Smriti by collecting rules from many Smriti and giving one clear meaning. A commentary explains only one particular part of the Smriti, not the full book. The two most important commentaries are Mittakshara and Dayabhaga. Mittakshara is followed in most part of India, while Dayabhaga is mainly followed in Bengal and Assam. These writings helped people and courts to understand Hindu law easily. Okay, now let me explain the difference between these two in a simple and easy way, the Mittakshara and Dayabhaga. First, basics of inheritance. In Mittakshara, a son gets a right in family property by his birth. A son can get a property right by his birth. In Dayabhaga, a son gets a right only after the father's death. He can get the right only after his father's death. Then second is region of practice. Mittakshara followed in most parts of India except West Bengal and Assam. It followed in most parts of India. In Dayabhaga, the it is followed in West Bengal and Assam. Mainly in West Bengal and Assam only followed the Dayabhaga. Joint family property. Next, the joint family property in Mittakshara. There is a joint family system. Property shared by male members up to 4 generations. In Dayabhaga, no joint family system. Properties owned individually. They owned the property individually. Right to partition. The fourth one is right to partition. Mittakshara's son can ask partition during the father's lifetime. But in Dayabhagala, partition happens only after the father's death. Women's property. Next heading is women's property in the Mitakshara law. Earlier, women had limited rights, but after the Hindu Succession Amendment Act 2005, daughters have equal rights in it. In Dayabagala, women's property rights. In Dayabagala, women, especially daughters, have stronger inheritance rights. Then next one is futures. Futures in Mitakshara, it is a conservative system. In Mitakshara, it is a conservative system, and in a Dayabaga, it is a more liberal system. Next, the topic is not the topic. Next one is authority over property. In Mitakshara, father cannot sell or transfer of property without the consent of co-partners. In Dayabaga, father has more control and can sell or transfer property. The next one is rights of widow. In Mitakshara, widow cannot demand partition, but she has a right to get maintenance. In Dayabagala, widow can inherit property and get a share after husband's death. Then essence of ownership. In Mitakshara, property is treated as joint family property until partition. Next one is custom. In section 3 of the Hindu Marriage Act explains what custom and usage mean. A custom is a rule or practice that has been followed continuously and uniformly for a long time by Hindus in a local area, community, tribe, or family, and because of long practice, it gets a force of law. There are three types of customs: local custom, community custom, and family custom. However, not every custom is valid. A custom must not be against public policy, morality, or justice. If a custom is immoral or harmful to society, it cannot be accepted as law, even if it was practiced for long time. Okay, student, not every practices becomes a custom in law. For customs to be valid, it must satisfy some conditions. First is antiquity. That is, the practice should be followed from a very long time, not started recently. That is antiquity. And the second one is certainty, which means the custom must be clear and definite. Everyone should know how it is followed. That is certainty. And the third one is reasonableness. The custom should be fair and not cruel or illogical. Next is conformity with law. It meaning it should not go against existing laws. And finally, public morality. So the custom should not be immoral or harmful to the society. If a custom satisfies all these points, only then the law will recognize it. So, students, these are the traditional sources of Hindu law: Shruti, Smriti, digest and commentaries, and customs. I have also added the PDF notes for this topic. You can find the link in the description below for easy revision. In the next class, we will see the next topic, that is the modern source of Hindu law. If you found this video helpful, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching and see you in the next class.